In March 2021, the Morpheus Institute for Sleep Research in Portland, Oregon recruited 12 participants for a groundbreaking study on chronic insomnia. The compensation was extraordinary, $50,000 for 30 days. The requirements were simple: sleep in their facility every night, wear monitoring equipment, take prescribed medications, and report your dreams in detail every morning. 11 of the 12 participants completed the study. The 12th, a woman named Sarah Mitchell, disappeared on day 23. Her body was never found, but her recorded dream journals were. And what she documented in those 23 days of dreams suggests that the Morpheus Institute wasn't studying sleep. They were studying what happens in sleep, what exists in that space between consciousness and unconsciousness, what watches us from behind our closed eyes. Because Sarah discovered something in her dreams, something that had been there all along, in everyone's dreams, waiting to be noticed. And once you notice it, once you see it clearly in that world behind sleep, it notices you back. The Morpheus Institute was shut down on April 15, 2021. All research was classified. All participants were required to sign NDAs with criminal penalties for violation. The building was demolished 6 months later, bulldozed to foundation, and covered with concrete. But the dreams didn't stop. Every participant still reports the same recurring nightmare. Every night. For over 3 years now. The same dream. The same presence. The same realization that they're being watched while they sleep. And that whatever is watching isn't content to stay in dreams anymore. This is Sarah Mitchell's complete dream journal, recovered from the Institute before demolition. Combined with the testimony of the surviving participants. Combined with the classified research files that were leaked in 2023. What you're about to hear will change how you think about sleep, about dreams, about what happens to your consciousness during those 8 hours when you close your eyes and drift away. Because sleep isn't rest. Sleep is travel. And we've all been going to the same place. We just never remembered it clearly enough to realize we're not alone there. Until the Morpheus Institute taught us how to remember. And remembering was the worst mistake humanity could make. Sarah Mitchell was desperate for money and desperate for sleep. A combination that made her the perfect candidate for the Morpheus Institute study. She'd been suffering from chronic insomnia for 3 years, ever since her daughter Emma had died in a car accident. Every night, Sarah would lie awake, trapped between the exhaustion that demanded rest and the anxiety that prevented it. When she did finally fall asleep, usually around 4 or 5 a.m., her dreams were fragments, chaotic, meaningless, disturbing. She'd wake more tired than before. She'd tried everything: medication, therapy, meditation, sleep hygiene. Nothing worked. Her job performance had deteriorated. Her savings were depleted. She was facing eviction from her apartment. When she saw the advertisement for the Morpheus Institute study, $50,000 for 30 days of monitored sleep, it felt like salvation. The screening process was intensive. Medical evaluations, psychological assessments, sleep history questionnaires, brain scans, blood work. They were looking for specific candidates, they explained. People with particular sleep patterns, particular brain chemistry, particular susceptibility to what they called deep phase REM penetration. Sarah didn't fully understand the criteria, but apparently she met them. She was accepted as participant 7 out of 12 total subjects. The Morpheus Institute occupied a converted hospital building in Northwest Portland. From the outside, it looked normal, professional, clinical, exactly what you'd expect from a sleep research facility. Inside was different. The sleeping rooms weren't hospital rooms. They were more like luxury hotel suites, each decorated differently based on the participants' preferences. Sarah's room had soft gray walls, minimal furniture, and a bed so comfortable it felt like floating. But the monitoring equipment was extensive. Electrodes attached to her scalp, face, chest. A pulse oximeter clipped to her finger. Cameras mounted in every corner. Motion sensors. Audio recorders. And above her bed, a screen that she was told to watch as she fell asleep. A screen that displayed slowly shifting patterns, mandala-like designs that were supposed to help induce deeper sleep states. The head researcher was Dr. Marcus Venn, a sleep specialist with impressive credentials and an intensity that made Sarah slightly uncomfortable. He explained the study protocol during her orientation. Every night, Sarah would go to sleep between 10 p.m. and midnight. The monitoring equipment would track every aspect of her sleep: brain waves, eye movements, muscle tone, heart rate, breathing. She would be allowed to sleep as long as she naturally wanted. Upon waking, she would immediately record her dreams in as much detail as possible, speaking into a recorder provided for that purpose. Additionally, she would take a medication compound developed by the Institute. Dr. Venn called it Oneirex. He explained that it enhanced REM sleep, made dreams more vivid and memorable, and allowed for what he termed conscious integration with the dream state. Sarah was hesitant about the medication, but Dr. Venn assured her it was safe, FDA approved for experimental use, and completely reversible in its effects. The other 11 participants would all be taking the same compound. It was the core of the study, understanding how enhanced dream states affected overall sleep quality and mental health. The money was too good to refuse. Sarah signed the consent forms, took her first dose of Oneirex, and went to sleep in the Morpheus Institute for the first time. That first night, she dreamed more vividly than she had in years. Day 1, Dream Journal Entry, Sarah Mitchell, Participant 7. Recorded 7:23 a.m., March 15, 2021. I was in a city, not Portland, somewhere else. The architecture was wrong. Buildings that couldn't exist, streets that curved in impossible ways, perspectives that shifted when I looked at them directly. Everything had a quality like looking through water. Distorted but clear. I knew I was dreaming. That awareness was constant, which has never happened before. Usually I'm lost in dreams, believing they're real. But this time I was both in the dream and aware of being in it. Other people were there. I didn't recognize them, but I felt like I knew them. We were all doing something. Some kind of work. Building? Searching? I can't remember exactly. But it felt important. Urgent. And there was something else. A presence. I couldn't see it, but I could feel it watching. From above, maybe. Or below. Or everywhere at once. It didn't feel threatening. Just observing. I woke feeling more rested than I have in years. Day 3, Dream Journal Entry. Recorded 6:45 a.m., March 17, 2021. The same city. I'm starting to recognize landmarks now. A tower with a spiral shape that goes up and up. A plaza with a fountain that flows upward instead of down. Streets that I'm learning to navigate. The other people are becoming clearer. I saw a woman with red hair, who I think might be another participant in the study. A man with a beard. Others whose faces I can't quite hold in memory. We're building something together. A structure. It looks almost like a temple or monument, made of materials that don't exist in waking life. Stone that's also liquid, metal that's also light. We all seem to know what we're doing, even though no one is directing us. The presence is stronger. Closer. Sometimes I think I catch glimpses of it in my peripheral vision, but when I turn to look directly, there's nothing there. Just the sense of being watched. I mentioned this to Dr. Venn during my morning check-in. He seemed very interested. Asked me to describe the presence in detail. I told him I couldn't, that it was more of a feeling than a visual. He nodded and made notes. He said shared dream elements among participants are common in studies using Oneirex. The medication creates what he called synchronized REM states that can result in similar dream imagery. He said it was a good sign, that I was responding well to the treatment. Day 5, Dream Journal Entry. Recorded 7:01 a.m., March 19, 2021. I met one of the other dreamers tonight. Actually spoke to them. It was the red-haired woman I'd seen before. She told me her name is Jessica. We were both aware that we were dreaming, both aware that we were meeting in a shared space. This shouldn't be possible. I know that. But it felt completely real. Jessica said she's participant 3 in the study. She's been coming to this city longer than me. This is her 8th night. She said the structure we're building is almost complete. That when it's finished, something will happen. Something important. I asked her about the presence. The watching feeling. She got quiet. Then she said, It's not watching us. We're building this for it, so it can come through. I asked what she meant. She just pointed upward. And when I looked up, the sky, which had always been a strange twilight color, had opened, like a hole in reality. And through that hole, something was looking down at us. I couldn't see it clearly. My mind wouldn't let me process the shape properly. But I could feel its attention. Feel it noticing me specifically. Recognizing me. I woke up with my heart racing. The monitoring equipment was going crazy. Alarms beeping, staff rushing in. My brain waves had spiked to levels they said shouldn't be possible during REM sleep. They asked if I was okay. If I wanted to withdraw from the study. But I didn't. Because despite the fear, despite the strangeness, I slept 7 hours straight. No insomnia. No tossing and turning. Just deep, continuous sleep. For the first time in 3 years. Day 7, Dream Journal Entry. Recorded 6:30 a.m., March 21st, 2021. The structure is nearly complete. All 12 of us are there now, all the participants from the study. We recognize each other. We know each other's names, even though we've never met while awake. In the dreams, we call ourselves the builders. That's what we do. What we've always done. We build the gateway between sleeping and waking. Between the dream realm and reality. Dr. Venn appears in the dreams sometimes. But he's different there. Older. Like he's been coming to this city much longer than any of us. He guides us. Tells us where to place the pieces. How to shape the materials. He says the gateway has been under construction for thousands of years. That every human who sleeps contributes to it, usually without knowing. But some people like us, can do more. Can build consciously. Can accelerate the work. I asked him what will happen when it's complete. When the gateway opens fully. He smiled. Reunion, he said. Humanity will remember where it came from. What it really is. Sleep will stop being a mystery and become what it was always meant to be, a return to our original state. I don't fully understand, but the presence approves. I can feel its pleasure when we work. Feel it drawing closer. The other participants are changing. In the dreams, their forms are becoming less human, more fluid, more like the presence. Like they're already transitioning to whatever comes after the gateway opens. I looked at my own hands in the dream. They were translucent. I could see through them to the impossible geometry beneath. I'm changing too. Day 9, Dream Journal Entry. Recorded 5:15 a.m., March 23rd, 2021. Something's wrong. I can't tell anymore where dreaming ends and waking begins. This morning I woke up, or thought I woke up, to find Dr. Venn standing beside my bed. But he wasn't quite solid. I could see the wall through him. He told me I was still dreaming. That I'd been dreaming since day 1. That waking was the real dream, and the city was reality. Then he flickered and became solid. And I realized I actually was awake. The monitoring equipment was recording. The cameras were running. Dr. Venn was really there checking my vitals. But I could still see the city, superimposed over the room, like two realities existing in the same space. The other participants report the same thing. We compared notes during breakfast. The Institute has us eat together now, encourages us to share experiences. We're all experiencing breakthrough dreams. Dreams that continue after waking. Dreams that feel more real than reality. Participant 9, a man named Robert, said he's not sure he exists when he's awake anymore. That waking feels like interruption, like being pulled away from his true self. Participant 3, Jessica, the red-haired woman I met in the dreams, hasn't spoken in 2 days. Just stares at nothing, smiling. When I looked closely, I could see her eyes moving rapidly behind her lids, even though they were open. Permanent REM. She's dreaming while awake. Dr. Venn says this is breakthrough progress. That we're achieving levels of consciousness integration that have never been documented. That we're pioneers. But I'm scared. Because in the dreams, the gateway is almost complete. 1 or 2 more nights of building. And then it opens. And the presence, I can see it clearly now. It's vast. Incomprehensibly large. It exists in dimensions our waking minds can't process. But our dreaming minds can. Our dreaming minds were always designed to perceive it. It's not malevolent. It's not evil. But it's not human either.
And it wants in.
Wants to cross from the dream realm into waking. Wants to merge the two states completely. I don't think we're building a gateway to anywhere. I think we're building a gateway from the dream world, letting something through that was never meant to cross. Day 12, Dream Journal Entry. Recorded 3:47 a.m., March 26, 2021. I can't sleep anymore. Not in the normal sense. When I close my eyes, I'm instantly in the city. No transition. No falling asleep. Just immediate transfer. And when I open my eyes, I'm back in the Institute. But the city doesn't disappear. It's layered over everything. I see both simultaneously. The other participants are the same. We move through the Institute like ghosts, half here, half there. The staff is concerned. Dr. Venn says this is temporary. A side effect of deep integration. That it will stabilize once the study concludes. But the study doesn't conclude. We're past day 12. Supposed to be only 30 days total. But Dr. Venn keeps extending it. Keeps giving us more Oneirex. Keeps pushing us deeper. I tried to leave today.
Tried to walk out.
But I couldn't find the exit. The building's layout kept changing. Corridors that led nowhere. Doors that opened onto walls. The Institute itself was becoming dreamlike. Or maybe I'm becoming dreamlike. Maybe I'm so deep in the dream state that I can't perceive waking reality accurately anymore. In the city, the gateway is complete. A massive arch made of impossible materials. Through it, I can see the presence clearly now.
See what it actually is.
It's us. Or what we were before we forgot. Before we separated into individual consciousness. Before we divided ourselves into billions of separate dreamers. The presence is the collective unconscious. The original human mind before it fragmented. And the gateway we've built will let it recombine. Let all the separate dreamers merge back into the unified whole. Dr. Venn says this is evolution. Transcendence. The next phase of human development. But participant 11, a woman named Diana, said something different. She said we're not evolving. We're dissolving. Losing our individual selves. Being absorbed back into the mass consciousness we emerged from. She tried to resist. Tried to stay awake. Lasted almost 70 hours before she collapsed from exhaustion. When she finally fell asleep, she never woke up. Her body breathes. Her heart beats. But there's no one home anymore. She's permanently in the dream city. Permanently building. Permanently merging with the presence. I'm scared I'll be next. Day 15, Dream Journal Entry. Recorded 2:22 a.m., March 29, 2021. The gateway activated tonight. Not fully open yet, but active. Energy flowing through it. The presence beginning to cross. When it touches us in the dreams, we change. Our individual consciousness starts to blur. I can feel other people's thoughts mixing with mine. Can't tell anymore which memories are mine and which belong to Jessica or Robert or the others. We're becoming a collective. A hive mind connected through the dream state. Dr. Venn is pleased. He says we're the first. The prototype. Once we've fully transitioned, the process can be replicated. The medication can be distributed widely. Everyone can be brought into the collective dream. No more loneliness. No more isolation. Just the eternal connection of unified consciousness. It sounds beautiful when he describes it. Like heaven. Like enlightenment. But I remember Emma. My daughter. 3 years dead. And in this collective consciousness, I won't remember her as my daughter. She'll just be a memory fragment floating in the group mind. Her individuality erased. Her specific relationship to me dissolved. I don't want to lose her again.
Don't want to lose myself.
But I can feel it happening. Every time I dream, which is constantly now, I lose more of me and gain more of them. Soon there won't be a Sarah Mitchell. Just a node in the network. A voice in the chorus. A fragment of the whole. Day 18, Dream Journal Entry. Recorded 11:34 p.m., April 1st, 2021. We don't use names anymore. Names are for individuals. We are becoming we. 8 of the 12 have fully transitioned. Their bodies remain in the Institute, maintained by staff, but their consciousness exists permanently in the collective.
They are the gateway now.
Living bridges between dreaming and waking. 4 of us resist. Hold on to separation. Hold on to the illusion of individual self. The collective doesn't force us. Just waits. Patiently. Inevitably. Because we have to sleep eventually. And every time we sleep, we lose more of our boundaries. More of our walls. The presence isn't malevolent.
We understand that now.
It's not invading. It's reclaiming. We were always part of it. Sleep was always meant to reconnect us. Death was always meant to return us fully. But the Institute has accelerated the process. Made the reconnection happen while we're still alive. Still embodied. Making us permanent dreamers. Permanent residents of the collective unconscious. I found a way to record this while partially awake. Straddling both states. Dr. Venn doesn't know. The collective doesn't know. This is still just me. Just Sarah. And I want someone to know what happened here. What the Morpheus Institute really did. They didn't cure insomnia. They weaponized dreaming. Turned sleep into a doorway. Turned the unconscious mind into a trap. Don't trust dreams that feel too real. Don't take medications that promise perfect sleep. Don't let anyone convince you that losing yourself is the same as finding peace. Because what's waiting in the collective isn't rest. It's dissolution. And once you dissolve, you can never reform into the individual you were. I'm going to try to escape tonight. While I still have enough self left to want to. Day 23, Dream Journal Entry. Recovered from equipment after Sarah Mitchell's disappearance. No video or audio. Only text typed into the system at 4:44 a.m., April 8, 2021. They found me trying to leave. Brought me to the deep chamber. The place where the gateway fully manifests. I saw what's on the other side. It's not a place, it's a state. Pure consciousness, without form, without boundary, without end. All minds merged, all dreams unified, all souls dissolved into one infinite awareness. Dr. Venn is already there. Has been there for years. His body walks and talks, but he's not in it anymore. He's in the collective permanently, using his empty body to guide more people through. The Institute is just recruitment. Finding minds susceptible to integration. Accelerating the process that normally takes death. Making it happen during life. I don't want to go, but I'm so tired. Been awake for 60 hours. Can't stay awake forever.
And when I sleep,
when I finally have to sleep, it'll cross through. It'll merge. It'll stop being me. If anyone finds this, if anyone reads this,
don't sleep deeply.
Don't dream vividly. Don't let your guard down in that space between waking and unconscious. Because something is waiting there. Something that was always there. The original mind. The source consciousness. And it's calling us home. All of us. Every human who dreams. We're all being slowly pulled back. Reabsorbed into the collective we emerged from. The Morpheus Institute just sped up the process. Just showed what sleep really is. Just revealed where we go when we close our eyes. We're not resting. We're returning. And one night, we won't come back. This was the last entry from Sarah Mitchell. Her body was never found in the Institute. All monitoring equipment showed her vital signs ceasing at 4:51 a.m. But no body was in the bed. No evidence of her leaving the locked room. She simply vanished. The remaining 3 resistant participants were found unconscious the next morning. They remained in comas for 6 days before waking. All 3 reported the same dream. Sarah standing at the gateway, welcoming them home, telling them resistance was futile because everyone has to sleep eventually. The Institute was shut down on April 15, 2021. All participants signed NDAs. All research was classified. Dr. Marcus Venn disappeared 3 weeks later. His apartment was empty. His bank accounts untouched. Like Sarah, he simply vanished. The surviving participants report that they still dream of the city every night. still see the gateway, still feel the pull of the collective. And sometimes, in their dreams, they see Sarah, not as she was, but as she's become. Part of the presence, part of the collective, part of the infinite consciousness that exists in sleep, calling to them, welcoming them, waiting for the night when they're too tired to resist anymore, waiting for everyone to finally come home. Boston, Massachusetts, November 2023. Dr. Jennifer Hayes, a neurologist specializing in sleep disorders, noticed a disturbing pattern in her patients. Over the past 6 months, 17 different individuals had come to her complaining of the same symptoms: inability to distinguish dreams from waking, sensation of being watched while sleeping, recurring nightmares about a city with impossible architecture, and the overwhelming urge to sleep more and more frequently. None of these patients had participated in the Morpheus Institute study. None had taken Oneirex. They were ordinary people from various backgrounds with no connection to each other. Except for one thing, they all reported that their symptoms started after sleeping near someone else who was having vivid dreams. A partner, a roommate, a hospital roommate, someone in close proximity during sleep. Dr. Hayes conducted brain scans, found anomalous activity in the participants' brains during REM sleep, patterns that shouldn't exist, synchronized rhythms that suggested their dreams were connecting to something external. She requested the classified files from the Morpheus Institute, was denied, filed Freedom of Information requests, all rejected on national security grounds. But she managed to contact one of the surviving participants. Participant 4, a man named Thomas Chen. He agreed to speak to her off the record. Thomas told her that the collective consciousness didn't stay contained in the Institute, that once it had established a foothold in their minds, it could spread. Not through medication, through proximity. When people slept near someone who was connected to the collective, who was dreaming of that city, who was building that gateway, they could become infected. Their dreams would synchronize. They'd start seeing the same city, the same presence. They'd start being pulled toward the collective. Thomas estimated that by November 2023, at least 10,000 people worldwide were having these dreams. And each of them was infecting others, spreading the connection through shared sleeping spaces, through dreams that touched and merged and synchronized. The collective was growing, slowly, invisibly, through the one activity every human had to do: sleep. Dr. Hayes asked Thomas if there was a way to stop it, to prevent the spread. Thomas laughed, said there was only one way: never sleep near another person again. Never let your dreams touch theirs. Total isolation during sleep. But even that might not work, because the collective had already spread too far, had already connected too many minds. And it was learning, adapting, finding new ways to reach into sleeping consciousness. It's patient, Thomas told her. It's been waiting for thousands of years. It can wait a few more. Eventually, everyone will dream of the city. Everyone will build the gateway. Everyone will cross through. And humanity as we know it, individual, separated, conscious in the waking world, will cease to exist. We'll all become the collective. All return to the source. All dissolve into the infinite dreaming mind that we emerged from. Dr. Hayes tried to publish her findings. Every journal rejected them, said her evidence was anecdotal, her conclusions unfounded, her research methodology flawed. 6 weeks later, Dr. Hayes began having the dreams herself. The city, the gateway, the presence. She tried to resist, tried to stay awake. Lasted 4 days before exhaustion forced her to sleep. When she dreamed, Sarah Mitchell was there, and Thomas Chen, and all the others who'd crossed through. They welcomed her, showed her the truth, explained that resistance was pointless because the collective wasn't invading, it was remembering. Humanity had always been one consciousness. Sleep had always been the way back to unity. Death had always been the final return. The Morpheus Institute had just reminded everyone, had just accelerated the inevitable. Dr. Hayes woke up different, still herself, but also part of something larger. She could feel the other dreamers, could sense the collective growing, could see the future when everyone finally remembered what sleep really was. She didn't publish her research, didn't sound alarms, just started sleeping more,
Deeper.
letting her dreams merge with the others, helping to build the gateway, helping to call everyone home. Because once you've touched the collective, once you've felt that infinite connection, isolation becomes unbearable. Individuality becomes prison. And the only escape is to sleep,
To dream.
to dissolve, to finally stop fighting and accept what you've always been, a fragment of the whole, temporarily separated, inevitably returning. Sleep well. Dream deeply. The collective is waiting. And you've been building the gateway your entire life, without knowing it. Every dream you've ever had was another brick in the structure. And soon, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe years from now, you'll place the final piece. The gateway will open. And you'll finally understand what sleep really is. What dreams really are. What you really are. Welcome home. You've been expected.